about you, my friends. I've been hanging around, taking the time.
Alrighty, y'all. Let's get to another update on the Porsche. So I'm going to go through just a couple of things today. Some interior items. Nothing major on this one. But I am going to share the difference between. In this little baggie are the lock knobs, right? So the way that this door locks is you push this little plunger down, old school, right? Well, I thought it'd be cool to get these really neat Ren line ones. And so, sorry, I'm not going to focus in on them because my face, stupid AI. But these little Ren line ones, I thought they were cool. They're aluminum. They're $50 for a pair, and they prevent the door from being lockable. Great. These are $1.90 each, plastic from Germany. They seem to work perfect. So the old ones were all ripped up, but I'll show you how I replaced them and the difference between the two, and then a couple of little other things. So let's get into it. Okay, first things first. Let me show you all what this thing looks like. And it still works. It's got the little top on it, just barely, but let me not look at the camera and see if it'll focus in on it a little bit. Maybe if I do that. Not at all. Anyway, you could see it's just very top of it. So the new one, the one that I tried, was this Ren line one. Pretty proud of it in the sense of it's $50 for a pair of aluminum. But they have different sizes. The problem is, depending on the year of the vehicle, the problem is neither size fits. So the one size is completely wrong. This one is supposed to be for this, and it just doesn't let it go down inside the door card itself. So, you know, lesson learned. And I suppose I could probably get a hold of them and return them. But that was quite a while ago, and so, again, these were $2 each. So this one is a pretty easy thing. Next thing I'm going to do, I put a couple other little Ren line, I guess, updates on this one. The crank is Ren line's aluminum. The other ones are like a plastic cover. They have an aluminum frame, or maybe it's metal, but these I think look a little bit cooler. And then as well, this is the actual lock mechanism. Kind of an interesting way of designing that, but nonetheless, thank you for your incredible design efforts, the Germans. So this is Ren line as well, and I replaced that, and I think that looks pretty cool in comparison. And then this, I think you could see it here. These door latch actuators. This is actually plastic, and it like bends every time you pull to unlock or unlatch the door. So I did get some aluminum ones, and these again are from this company called Ren line. I keep saying Ren line like y'all should know who that is. If you're in the Porsche community, maybe you do, but they're just going to be a lot more durable. That's it. And so I won't risk like scaring myself every time I open the door. Hope to God I don't snap that off, then I can't get out of the car. I guess I could, because I could roll the window down and climb out or open the door latch from the outside. But anyway, I'm going to go through this. There's a couple of steps involved with replacing this. And then I got a couple of little odds and ends, so I'll probably just set the camera up and let y'all take a look at the couple of updates I'm doing today. This latch catches on this little latch here, catches on this little clip, and I've got a couple of replacement clips as well, just simply because if I had it apart, why not, right? Get it, just make sure that they're going to be good for another 40-50 years. So I will work on that, and then I'm gonna have to figure out how I actually remove this. This is the first time I'm seeing it in terms of I may have to May have to do some actual metal work. We'll see. All right, here we go. Okay, in order to remove the handle, there is a very small clip that attaches, that little black clip. Little spread washer that snaps over that particular pin, one on each side, one on the top as well. So I'm gonna have to figure out how I manipulate that without these clips. They're springs, basically spring loaded, or it's kind of a springy material, so that way they can spread and come back together. Anyway, I'm gonna have to figure out a way to pop that out without it shooting across the garage. So here we go. Okay, I figured it out. So this is a little tiny clip. Anyway, that's a little tiny clip. Figured out how to get it off. And then now I'm just gonna work this one out. And put the new one on. So that you may be able to see. This is the other side. And that was actually quite simple. So the new handle's on there. Pretty easy to kind of spread that, pop that little clip off, and put the other one on, put a little bit of grease on there to make it nice and smooth. Put it back on. This is taking forever. Let's do a little time trial, shall we? Okay, I'm not gonna film the other one. I think y'all get the gist of what's going on here, but I'm not worried about that breaking. All right, let's move to the next thing. Let's see what we got. This one might be the biggest project to date on the SC. Let's see how we do. That with that. Maybe it is going to be the biggest one. All right, it was harder than I thought. So these are just, this is actually where you jack the car up. There's a little puck that slides into that little channel. And so these little plastic, I guess, I don't know what you call them, covers. They're just a cosmetic thing, just to keep any kind of rock and dirt and things from getting inside of there. So if you ever need to jack a car up, there are some other points you can do it at, but this is where Porsche recommends you put the little puck in there and then put a jack underneath it and jack it up. So the other side was actually gone. So while I was gonna replace it, I might as well replace both of them. So there we go. Well, the emblem probably doesn't look too bad, but the gasket underneath it is actually kind of shot and split. So this will be a quick one of getting underneath there. A couple of bolts, unscrew it, replace it. Let's get to it. The emblem, or the badge itself, actually broke. So yay, I gotta order a new part. That's probably gonna be cheap. That's probably gonna be like $10, right? Nope. All right, we'll come back to that one. There it is. Took about a month and a half for that to come in from Porsche. I guess they're just out of them. And then another couple of weeks for the little gasket underneath. Nonetheless, it's all put together now, and new emblem on dirty old banged up paint. The things we decide to spend our money on, who knows? All right, got a tool that should help with some of these projects. So come on in here. So this is actually a car lift. So it'll allow me to get underneath the car, raise it up. I think it's about 30 inches. So I can climb underneath and do a lot of that engine work. Now I got to put it together. We'll see. Yep, that makes a big difference. I'll probably adjust a little bit of how I go about jacking this thing up from time to time, but man, that gives me some pretty good access. So just real quick, what I'm gonna do under here, this gets replaced, and the new seal, the valve cover, gasket's new seal. You can see here, the oil return tubes are really leaking. Those get pulled out and replaced. This oil line, oil return line, both of them are getting replaced. Timing chain, this little thing here, timing chain on both sides. The seals will be replaced. And on the oil tank, this is the oil reservoir. This tube is getting replaced, as well as that upper one. Purely nastiness, goes way up there. So it's about 34, 35 inches of clearance that I can get underneath here. You can see the oil return tubes there. So there's quite a bit of room, quite a bit of stuff to do, but hopefully a lot of these little leaks that I'm experiencing will be a thing of history. We shall see. I have drained the oil from the main tank right there. That was fun. I'm glad I didn't record it, because I probably put 3 quarts, maybe 4 quarts of oil on the garage floor. I'm going to remove this drain plug now on the sump, remove all of these smaller screws, and replace the sump and the gasket, and try to shore that little part up. So lots of oil. 10 quarts in the 3 liter, because it's kind of incorrectly called air cooled. It's oil cooled, and it uses a lot of oil to cool it.
Notice how there's no watch? Watches and oils, they don't do too well together. These may not be long enough. That's why the other ones are in there. Yeah. So, I will have to replace these studs. These are not long enough for this plate. There's that stud. Hope that's coming through. And then the new stud. And you'll see there's a little Allen hole. Now I'm going to screw it into the block. All of those studs are now replaced. That was a lot of fun. Let's get this back in place. Gasket's still on there. And now this gasket. Okay, I will figure out or look up what the torque specs are for that. But for right now, let's see, that's what that looks like. Let's hope that it doesn't get covered with oil. Let's hope that solves part of it. So the oil return tubes actually were replaced before. So those are aluminum ones, two-piece ones, which is what I actually have to replace. So I don't know. We'll see. The other ones are actually pretty bad on that side. So I'm not sure what I'll do next, but y'all will see. One of the hoses here, the new hose, that was actually not worth filming. It's two little hose clamps and then the hose. Now I'm starting to do the valve cover gaskets. This will be a little bit of an experiment. I'm also going to take this hose off. It terminates here, so I'll have to probably heat that fitting to get it to break loose. And then I can take this one off, and then as well the same one on the top here, this one, which starts leaking right down in here. So those two hoses and the valve cover gasket, and this is the valve cover gasket kit. And I'm interested to see here because there are two of these gray ones and two of these blue ones. So I'm interested to see what I find when I take that off. Righty, today's adventure is to try to get the valve cover gaskets replaced, at least one side. But in order to do that, and that's what I'm going after, is I've already loosened the valve cover gaskets, but these hoses are in the way, or not in the way, but it'd be a lot easier if they weren't there. So I'm actually going to work on removing them, and you can see how much just gunk, oil, dirt is all, is all formed around that. So I'm gonna kind of clean that up, and I got some proper tools, hopefully, to get me to allow me to break those loose. I've got replacement lines for those, and that's what I'll be working on right now. Gasket, pretty old and brittle, and so I have a feeling that's where some of the leakage was coming from. So I'll get this all cleaned up and take a look at these oil return tubes, which are sitting right here, and see what else I can find. Everything's pretty, well, I wouldn't say easy to get to, but it's pretty accessible. And so a lot of these little maintenance things are not terribly hard. Just take your time and kind of figure it out. It's the beauty of old cars. They just kind of make sense. Valve cover is removed. The area is cleaned off. Those two hoses have been removed, and the areas are cleaned off. And then the valve cover itself with a new gasket, new bolts and washers. So now's the reassembly of this side. Now I still have to figure out exactly how I'm gonna get, so these are called oil return tubes, and they go underneath here. They are underneath here, and they've been replaced before, but I don't think they're good. And so I've got new ones, but I know how to take out original ones, but I don't know how to take out these aftermarket, so I got a little research to do. Let's see. Not too bad. Actually figured out I could just get the right tool and just kind of crimp it together, meaning just pull it together. There's a gasket inside, there's two pieces there, and the gasket inside it can be just, you know, pulled in, or I guess spread out to actually put them in. The new ones are a little bit different. They have this locking washer inside, so you get these each end seated, one into the block, one into the head, and then push it out, and then allows you to put the retaining clip in there to hold it in place. So a little bit different for the new ones, but now that I've got those figured out, I can do the other side too. So I'm just gonna finish this side today and get everything put back together, and then work on the next one next week. I do have a new oil cooler for the front. There's what's called a trombone cooler on there now, which is galvanized metal that just is like literally a trombone, and that's you know, air goes through it and helps cool the engine oil. And I got an actual fin one. Think of it like a radiator. Actually has fins in it, and so it will cool a lot easier or better. I did that because down here in Texas, the summers are so unbelievably hot that I just thought a little extra cooling definitely couldn't hurt. So let's see. All right, this was fun. So this bracket was pointed down to get this oil cooler to fit. So I had to bend that back up, and this is the original mounting point for the trombone. So what I had to do is manufacture a new way of mounting it. So anyway, that's what that's gonna look like. But that is all but done now. Didn't film much of that just because it was hours of bending and banging and bending and banging. But I'm gonna film it here and just to show you in just a second what it looks like fully mounted. Voila. All right, it's all mounted in a really good position, nice and firm. I put the wheel on. Of course, it's jacked up, so there's a lot more clearance, but I put the wheel on, turned it around, and it's got plenty of clearance. And of course, the original one almost butted up against the horn, and that one is the same thing. So I think that's mission accomplished, at least on that one. So what do we have next? Now, this side is done in terms of the things I worked on last time around, gaskets and oh my gosh, all the other stuff that I did underneath here. This is what's next, this side. So I've got to get that valve cover gasket off, those oil tubes out. You can see that one's really bad, really leaking. So in order to do this, I've got to take all of this exhaust off though. The exhaust manifold and possibly this muffler, to be determined. That's what's next.